It's getting a little too dangerous. We're hitting each other. We're going like 120 miles an hour. The Cannonball Run Europe was going to be a 5-day rally. We didn't know exactly the route, but we knew we were going to at least go to France and Spain. We were going to take the car out of England. The nicest car I could rent being under 30 years old was a Ford Mondeo. It's funny because I didn't know really what it was until they gave me the keys for it. I'm like, you know, screw it, I just got a car. And I go out in the parking lot, this blue 5-door sedan, plain Jane, 5-speed, right-hand drive. I'm like, oh God, this car's gonna, because you know, we're used to doing these high-end rallies, and at least we had the BMW, and now here we are in something that looks like an elongated Focus. And so I got in a car leaving the airport, and I've never driven on the roads in England, so it's right-hand drive. The car is right-hand drive, and it's a 5-speed, and until the first runabout I came to, I went the wrong way. As soon as Dado gets here and gets in this car, we're gonna die. Oh, watch out, Dado. No, you have to go that way. Okay. We're gonna die. Dado flew in, we started the rally. We lined our rental car up with all these nice modified cars. And everybody's like, who the fuck are these guys? You know, we're the only people from the United States. And it was just everybody's like kind of making fun of just us in the car or whatever. And then by the first day, people were just like, man, you guys are fucking pretty awesome in this car. Because we didn't give a fuck, because, you know, a car that you don't own is the fastest car in the world. And we were just blowing by everybody in this car.
You're truly awesome. I mean, fantastic what you're doing. It's unbelievable. We went through that pole when we started on the bolts, and we were driving like idiots, and you went past us on the outside lane at 130 miles per hour. It was just...
A friend of ours, he's famous for back in the day doing the gumball and the players run with us. His name is Rob, GT2 Rob, and they called him Loneman. And so we just hung out with him the whole time. By the second day, we kind of had a bet going on. We were in Morocco, and we came up with a bet that we'd be the first ones there, because even though his GT2 was fast as shit, our car was more fuel efficient. So he was like the first one out of the boat, just took off, and we were like number 30. It was like the 30th car coming off the ferry. And we caught up to him because he had to fill his car up. So we did our video. We had a camera in our car and had a camera in his car. And he was so, at first it was funny, haha, you know, we're passing him. He was so frustrated. He would just fly by us, go to the gas station, and we'll just see him and just, you know, flick him off. And towards the end of the day, he was just like, fuck it, we're just gonna floor it. He was going 190 as fast as he could to the hotel and beat us, and we came in second place. While we were racing him, Dado was so upset that he had this slow ass Ford that he had to drive, because he was building his M3 for over a year, and it just kept on running into these problems after problems. And then the car being finished right before we left for the Cannonball and for it not to be ready, it would just suck to have this car break down in like Morocco. We went to Morocco just for one night, and to have the car stuck there and spending more than we spent on the car just to get the car back home. Poor rental car. He was like burning, using a cigarette lighter and burning holes in the dash out of his frustration. He really hated this Ford. And I kind of felt sorry for it, because we were doing all these rallies in the past and we never had a comfortable car. And this car had air conditioning. It had, you know, we actually listening to the radio for the first time. We're like in comfort. And I think the top speed of that car was like 135 miles an hour, and we just kept it pegged at 135 miles an hour. We were just passing everybody, because everybody would slow down for police, and we were the only people from the United States. We didn't give a shit about our license, or our record. We just floored it the whole time. So we made it, I think it was the second or third night, we were in Madrid. Everybody started taking turns beating up our car. I mean, we didn't know for the longest time that our license plates were put on backwards. People would kick the side of it. I mean, even Dado, while the car was on the ferry, he was jumping up and down on the roof. Of course, this isn't my name, but I don't care, whatever. This is fun. The last day of the rally, we ran into two guys that wrecked their Mercedes SLK on the first day of the rally. It wound up in a ditch, and no matter what happens to your car, you're always supposed to finish with everybody else and party with them. So if you wreck your car, you get another one, you get a ride with somebody, you rent one, you buy one. That's the whole goal, is to continue the rally no matter what. So these guys wrecked their SLK on the first day, and they put it into a ditch and they rented a Ford Focus. So I think it was like the fourth day, we're in France. We're in our rent-a-car. And we saw them going around this runabout. They were like just mind their own business in this Ford Focus. There's no stickers on it. And we just come up behind them and we just run in the back of him just to get their attention. And they had no idea what was going on. Like, what the hell? You know, these two English guys had no idea what was going on. And then they realized it was us, and we just went full out chase off the road, through the woods, coming back onto the highway, and we're chasing them. And then we spin around, they're chasing us. So we get onto this main highway. We're doing like a top speed run next to each other. And I was really hoping that Dada wouldn't like try to do like a pit maneuver and like knock him out, you know, just for the fun of it. But I was just like, okay, it's getting a little too dangerous. We're hitting each other. We're going like 120 miles an hour. And then at the last minute, they backed off. And then Dada decided to start hitting construction cones through this. This is some road in France. It was 2 lanes and then it went to 1 lane. And he's just like hitting these cones at over 100 miles an hour. And then one of the cones, I guess, broke off the oil filter, and it just started leaking oil, and we didn't know. The car was like smoking, and we ended up blowing the motor.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
It's dead. It's dead.
So our friends in the Focus pulled over, like, look, we got to get rid of the evidence. We had these side-mounted cameras. This is before GoPro, so these are huge lipstick cameras. And all our luggage, I say, look, we had to deal with the police. They're probably going to be here. We put all the stuff in their Ford Focus, and they took off to go to the next hotel. When the police arrived, these truck drivers were telling the police in French, we couldn't understand, but they were pointing at a car, trying to explain to them what we were doing. And the cop comes to the car, and they're like, you got to open up your trunk. And we opened up the trunk. We had nothing. It was complete, and the truck driver was like, oh, and the truck driver was so pissed because all the evidence was in the other car. It was already heading to the hotel. So luckily the main police officer that was there spoke Spanish and was trying to explain to Dada, you know, what the hell were you guys doing? And I don't know exactly what Dada told him, but the guy pretty much calmed down because Dada could speak Spanish. And he gave us a ticket. It was like a minor ticket for, I don't even remember what it was, but they confiscated the car. Well, the car wasn't going to go anywhere anyway. So, and I rented the car. I'm like, I don't care. You know, I'm so used to in the U.S. if something happens, the rental car company will take care of you. You know, they'll give you another car. They understand it was in an accident or something. French police took the car away. A couple of the Cannonball Run guys came by and they picked us up, and off we went. We just left the car in the rental car in France. We let the police deal with it. We finished the rally later on that day. We were in different cars, no big deal. I had a great time. 2 months later, I go get gas using my debit card, and my debit card wouldn't work. I'm like, this is kind of weird. You know, I have money in my account. Such an idiot. I rented this car with my debit card. I never canceled it. So what happened was, Hertz couldn't find our car for 2 months. It was in some French garage in some French village. It was pretty much a brand new car. So they charged me about $2,200 in missed rental fees and a tow back to England. Yeah, that was my rent-a-car story. Just cancel your car next time if you rent a car overseas and you plan on destroying it.